I'd like to call the Macomb City Council Committee of the Whole to order, please, if the clerk would call the roll.
Justin Shu. John Vajezi.
Here.
Byron Shabazz.
Here.
Dave Dorsett.
Present.
Ashley Katz.
Here.
Don Nguyen.
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
6 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda of tonight's meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council in the public comment section of tonight's agenda? Already seeing none, we'll move on to item number 1, discussion on an ordinance to amend section 17-766 of the municipal code pertaining to the curb cuts within the downtown business district. This ordinance had first reading on July 15th, and we'd ask the Community Development Director, Ms. Lambert, if she would come forward. You should have a proposed design for this site at your desks. And could you go over what we're thinking about doing here?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So where this amendment came to place is we received a site plan review process for Clem's parking lot property. And by starting to do some diving in and seeing what it is that we're going to need in terms of some zoning and things along that sort, is realizing currently the code does not allow us to do curb cuts. So obviously to enter into a parking lot, you will need a curb cut to get into said parking lot. So unfortunately for us to be able to move forward with that, we do ask council to be able to approve that so that this way we're able to consider the site plan review process, because if not, this is not something we would move forward with. Where we currently stand with the process is this week we're going to meet with city staff on seeing what the current standards are. We already see a couple of things in terms of the setback and other aspects that we're going to have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals on. So we're going to bring that forward. So again, we're not necessarily diving in on the project today, but more so setting the ordinance in place so that we can start that process.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Lambert regarding the process itself? All right. Any comments? Alderman Vajezi.
Just to be clear, the curb cuts, it says within the downtown business district. What exactly does that entail, from where to where? Because we're just talking about this one specific plan, but if someone else, it's essentially a block and a half outside of the downtown square?
That sounds approximate. Yes.
One block outside of the square.
Outside?
Thank
Okay,
you.
so anything within that area would be applicable within this.
So I think it's Calhoun, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're Calhoun on the north, Jefferson on the south, MacArthur on the west, and Campbell on the east.
Okay, thank
I
you.
believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and again, this was an ordinance made back in the 90s. So again, different aspects, different properties that we had at this point. We didn't have an open space like we currently do.
Very good. Alderman Dorsett.
Yes. During discussions, the community development, we talked about this a little bit, and it's just a kind of a leftover from a different time. We had no openings to make any changes really as far as putting in downtown parking lots. And due to the unfortunate effects of the fire in 2000, again in 2010, the landscape down there has changed a lot. So this has been an underutilized section that's had many ideas floated on it over the years. And given what's been done on the building that Mr. Clem is going to be moving into, I think this is actually a very good use of this space.
Very good. Anyone else? Alderman Moon?
Does this meet the criteria for how much green space and parking spaces we have?
So again, we're going to meet this week to go over those different measures. Eric, our building inspector, will assist me on things. But with the landscaping, because it pretty much goes from more than 15 parking spots and more than 100 parking spots. So you're going to see quite a difference from, say, something you see at Walmart to what you see here. But here you need to have landscaping that's 7 feet wide at a minimum. And they're actually going to have 2. Again, this was their preliminary site plan. What they submitted to us for our site plan review shows from this measure to this measure as landscaping, and then from up here to down here. So there will be two sections of landscaping with both trees and shrub. Right now, it does just state gravel, but what they have, you can see that it just states landscaped area. So that shall meet. Again, we're going to go exactly through the amount of shrubs and trees like that through the site plan process.
And so, to clarify a little bit, the ordinance change that we're requesting is just to change the code, and then anytime a project comes up, we'll come back to council for formal approval. So we're not discussing or be asking for approval of this next week. It'll be just to change the code to come back at a later time to ask for approval for this once we get all those details worked out. So
And one
this
thing
is just
I
an
will
example
state
of what's come up, what's predicated the whole discussion.
is we currently do not do, so our site plan review process, again, most of the times, the issues that you might see go to the zoning board of appeals or planning commission. Planning commission, what they vote on then comes to city council, but not the zoning board of appeals. But as mentioned, that's something we can bring forward through city council on this ordinance to make sure that you guys are seeing that the best use is taking place when it comes to our downtown.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Alderman Moon.
Just by looking at this and owning a business at one time downtown, and I don't want to dictate to them how they're going to have to design their parking lot, but I would like it better if the green space was on the corner of Carroll and Lafayette. It almost looks like it could be done and it wouldn't affect their number of parking places. As you come up the street, then you're going to see a green space as opposed to a parking lot.
Understand, I think we can convey that
Yes, that's
through the
definitely a
staff.
message I can
Yeah, right
pass
on the
through.
corner.
Here,
Yeah.
put it up here.
Right.
So basically rotate the three and a half parking spots they
Sure.
have north side to south side and put their parallel parking stall north side. That's definitely something we can convey, especially in mentioning that we'll be bringing this forward.
I
in
think
front
it
of
would
City
be
Council.
more attractive to the downtown.
I think the reason they've designed it that way, that bump out in there, I think that's a transformer. That's Ameren's. So
Yeah,
that
I think you're right. There's-
CONC,
there's
that's a
pole.
transformer.
That's a pole.
Yeah, a pole and a transformer there. I'm assuming that's why that
Yeah, you're,
parallel
Spots are
parking
allowed.
spot is there. I mean, there will still be the city's landscaping right on the corner that we already have where at the sidewalk, see on the top left, that'll be there. But yeah, their part of landscaping is proposed to be on the back, so.
And I think one thing, especially with the business, by being able to see the parking lot, they can put signage there, especially for their employees and potential clients being able to park there. That really does open up some of our parking around Chandler or the downtown by adding these parking spots.
Alrighty. We'll go ahead and place this on for second reading at the first meeting in August, and we'll look forward to site plan review results after staff have a chance to go over it a little further. Thank you. I don't believe we have any more business before you this evening. We'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.